particularly in Texas, where there was another bloody weekend. NBC Jim Cummins tonight on the political rhetoric and the reality.
This morning in Houston, 24-year-old police officer John Gaddis was murdered while transporting two robbery suspects in the back of his patrol car. The two had been searched and were in handcuffs with their hands behind their backs.
Somehow, one of the suspects managed to produce a firearm and shot the officer.
At point-blank range with a .38 caliber pistol in the back of the head, Gaddis was pronounced dead at the hospital. In San Antonio, two drive-by shootings this past weekend and more innocent victims of ongoing juvenile gang warfare, according to the police. In one shooting, 30 rounds of semi-automatic gunfire, large caliber, were fired into this mobile home. In the other, 4-year-old Raimundo Diaz was killed when shots came through a window.
They drive by and they shoot into the households without regard of who is inside the house, but their intended victims are usually not the ones that get shot. It's either other relatives that suffer the consequences.
Today in Dallas, juvenile court judge Hal Gaither ruled that 15-year-old Moses Montez will be tried as an adult for murder following a shootout between rival gangs on New Year's Day. Gaither insists the problem of kids and guns is an old one for him.
It was an urgent problem 10 years ago. It's just that the politicians are, at this time, finally deciding that some of us were right.
Gaither says the overall crime rate for adults is on the decline, but for juveniles, it's headed in the other direction. He proposes curfews for kids and stiff penalties for kids who use guns. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
Houston ranks second in the state for the number of juveniles charged with murder. Police reported 20 such arrests in 1989, but Dallas has the dubious honor of being first, with 32 youngsters under the age of 17 being charged with murder. This year, that number has already doubled in Dallas. Dallas officials say an increase in gang activity is partially to blame.
Bad news may be in the mail for young men in Portland. Letters telling them they will be on a list of criminal gang members for the next 4 years. This list replaces one a judge disallowed for not giving those on it the chance to respond. It gives recipients a chance to correct any misconceptions and could give some the push to move away from gangs. But some former gang members wonder how the list will affect them. They are former
Like me,
gang
I want to be a
members.
chef. And if I end up on the gang list, that's going to ruin a lot of things for me.
Everybody was getting accused of being a gamer. But now they give you a chance to prove that you are a gamer or you're not a gang member.
Right now, there are just 20 names on that list.
A 2.5-minute problem just cost me, 15 days in jail, and that was lenient, you know what I'm saying? So just to my homeboys, you make the decision if it's important. If you scrapping, 2.5 minutes, I'm about to do 15 days in jail. I was facing 6 months. Is it worth it?
Calling their album As Nasty As You Want to Be. Police busted the group after an adults-only concert last month. The case may already be in trouble. A tape of the concert is reportedly so garbled that no one can understand the words.
Names in rap music feel they are being treated unfairly by critics.
Major rap groups like Public Enemy say now their music is being targeted by the same groups that tried to censor Two Live Crew.
If you do walk into a major chain or a store, you'll probably see my record in the back in the corner, hidden behind ZZ Top or somebody. And it's sad. I mean, we smile and we laugh and joke about it, but it's a real serious issue.
At a symposium on rap music, some rappers called the censorship racially motivated.
I think it has disturbing racial overtones because people like Guns N' Roses or Andrew Dice Clay, they don't get banned. People don't get arrested for selling their records.
Into a new realm. Rappers think some people may be uncomfortable with their music because much of it addresses difficult social problems.
I think it asks certain questions that a lot of the people in the community leaders, really don't basically have an answer for.
Sandra Stricker, Channel 5 Eyewitness News Nightcast.
The controversial rap group Two Live Crew will be in the Bay Area on July 26. They are scheduled to play a midnight show at the DNA Lounge, and earlier in the day, they will perform at the San Jose Civic Auditorium. Charges of racism have forced a TV station in Los Angeles to pull a cartoon series off the air. Asian and Latino groups put pressure on KCAL Channel 9 when it started running Dick Tracy cartoons from the 1960s. They say two characters on the series named Jiu-Jitsu and Go-Go Gomez were insulting stereotypes. KCAL says it didn't mean to offend anyone and has agreed to replace Dick Tracy with a less controversial cartoon.
Former DEA agent says he has proof the CIA smuggled cocaine into the United States to aid the Nicaraguan Contras.
That former agent believes a lot of that cocaine wound up on the streets of South Central Los Angeles. And Al Naipo joins us now with the latest on the alleged CIA and Contra drug scandal.
And that agent has a lot to say about that. Well, John, Celerino Castillo, a former DEA agent, says he has the proverbial smoking gun, evidence the U.S. government peddled drugs in the name of ridding Nicaragua of communism.
There is a lot of evidence I have to show, but the problem is nobody's caught me.
Celerino Castillo, a Vietnam veteran and former Drug Enforcement Administration agent, claims he has hard evidence linking the Central Intelligence Agency to cocaine trafficking involving Nicaraguan Contras it supported in Central America. But no government agency will talk about his charges.
They know I'm the missing link to this whole thing. I'm the one that can put the CIA involvement in narcotics trafficking, not only with the crack out of LA, but with the support that they gave to the Contras.
Castillo spent 13 years as a frontline soldier in the war on drugs. He fought most of his battles in Central America. Upon Castillo's arrival there in 1985, he says a fellow agent advised him that the CIA-backed Contras were smuggling thousands of kilos of cocaine into the U.S. in an apparent drugs for arms deal to aid the Nicaraguan rebels' fight to overthrow the communist regime. Castillo claims the CIA operated 2 hangars at the Ilopango military air base in El Salvador, the alleged hub for many cocaine flights in Central America, but not all.
Not only out of Ilopango, they're flying out of Guatemala, they're flying out of Honduras. We refuel a lot of planes loaded with cocaine that were never intercepted in the U.S. and undercover operations with the cartels.
Castillo says he took more than 3,000 photos of the alleged CIA Contra drug operation and also kept a journal containing drug flights, the names of pilots, and their plane numbers.
So we get a lot of good stuff here.
Castillo did this on his own, in addition to his job tracking down drug traffickers in El Salvador and Guatemala. Castillo says he complained to his DEA bosses, writing several reports, but that no action was ever taken and that he was discouraged from continuing his private surveillance. DEA officials declined to comment since the allegations are part of a federal investigation. Castillo says knowledge of the alleged CIA-Contra drug link not only involved the CIA and the DEA, but also the #2 man at the White House, Vice President George Bush. Castillo says he met then Vice President Bush in January 1986 at the U.S. ambassador's residence in El Salvador. Castillo says he mentioned the Contra drug running to Bush, but that the vice president declined to respond. Bush, who also served as CIA director in the 70s, has said he was unaware of any CIA-Contra drug connection. The CIA, which is conducting one of 4 federal probes into the allegations, wouldn't address Castillo's claims. However, the agency maintains it has uncovered no solid evidence showing the CIA participated in or condoned drug trafficking. Castillo says investigators can just read his book, Powder Burns.
I do think that he's a very valuable person.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters believes there's much to learn from Castillo about the DEA.
I think Celerino helps us to understand who they are and how they operate and the kinds of things that have been going on in the DEA that will help us to understand their role in all of this.
The CIA drug allegations surfaced last summer in a series of published newspaper reports. The articles allege that during the 80s, a San Francisco drug ring smuggled cocaine from Central America to the Bay Area and then sold it to gangs in Los Angeles, funneling the drug profits to the Contras in Nicaragua. All that while agents like Celerino Castillo fought to stem the tide of drugs in the U.S. The 47-year-old retired DEA agent says he's now fighting his 3rd war.
The most dangerous war is the criminals within my own government that were involved in this massive cover-up. And it's called obstruction of justice. These people should be held accountable to what is happening in the streets today.
And again, no federal agency has responded one way or another to Celerino Castillo's claims of U.S. drug involvement in Central America during the 1980s. Of course, it's adding yet more controversy to these allegations.
We have not heard the last of this one.
Not indeed.
All right, Al, thank you.
The family of Aaron Williams, a man who died in police custody, has filed a wrongful death claim against the city of San Francisco, and their attorney says they hope to file a $10 million federal lawsuit as well. The coroner says Williams died last June because of a self-induced cocaine delirium, but witnesses say police beat him and sprayed him with pepper spray. The family plans to file a federal suit saying police violated Williams' civil rights. A viewing today for a man killed by a San Francisco police officer during a drug bust at an Ingleside playground. 29-year-old William Hankston Jr. was shot in the back of the head. He was unarmed, but an autopsy revealed bags of crack cocaine in his stomach. Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan in San Francisco today commented on the shooting.
And of course, the more we kill each other, the easier it is for others who harbor hatred for us to kill us. But if we, in our unity and strength, accepting some of the responsibility of our own actions, can make a change within ourselves and within our own communities, then we can stop others from killing us once we stop ourselves from killing each other.
It was also learned today that the NAACP was allowed to interview the officer involved before homicide investigators. Chief Rivera says that was not a violation of police policy. Meantime, the investigation into the shooting continues.
The notorious murder suspect known as Black Ed is in police custody tonight, thanks to some dedicated police work and some help from Los Angeles TV viewers. Tony Valdez is live at Men's Central Jail with an update on one of LA's most wanted. Tony.
Christine, Edwin Smith he simply ran out of time and luck in Lancaster last night. He's in the Central Jail tonight because of two very determined women who absolutely refused to give up. One of them, an LAPD South Bureau homicide detective. The other, the mother of one of Smith's 3 alleged victims, who got the news she's been waiting 14 years to hear at about 3 o'clock this morning.
This morning after Carolyn called, I got on my knees and thank God. And I'll do that again as I always do. But I'll probably rest very well tonight, knowing that he's not out there to hurt anybody else.
It was her 17-year-old son, Ernest, who was allegedly Smith's first murder victim, cut down outside Dorsey High School along with another victim in the crossfire between rival gangs on January 20th, 1984. When the case went to court, witnesses suddenly became scarce and Smith was set free. It was a cold case until 1993, when LAPD Detective Carolyn Flamenco inherited the investigation. She tracked down the original witnesses and convinced them to finally do the right thing after nearly 10 years of silence. But by then, Smith had been implicated in the murder of an old friend, Ronald Miller, and he was nowhere to be found. Smith was profiled several times here on Fox News, on LA's Most Wanted. He was also seen on America's Most Wanted. And every television appearance provided some information that Detective Flamenco could use.
And located him out in Lancaster with a girlfriend. We conducted about a 10-hour surveillance, and he came out of the house and we took him into custody.
Smith was arraigned on murder charges this morning. He is in jail tonight on a no bail hold. As for Ms. Pickett-Allen and Detective Flamenco, they say thank you to all the Fox television viewers who helped them over the years. Reporting live from the Twin Towers, Men's Central Jail, I'm Tony Valdez. John back.
Rapid response teams will answer many emergency calls, so cops such as Bryant Harris can walk a beat.
When we first got into this, I was surprised at how many people were actually afraid to come out of their house.
Cops used to call the Inglewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side the most dangerous turf in America. 8 square miles, 98 murders in 1991.
Tell them Officer Harris was asking about him.
But since a pilot community policing program began in Inglewood last spring, violent crime is down. 2 months went by without any murders. Neighbors are keeping a lookout, and people feel safer.
When I first moved around here, it was kind of bad. You see a lot of gangbangs up and down the street. You don't see that no more.
But critics say that to the extent community policing is working, in Inglewood, for example, it's because the city of Chicago has committed the resources to make it work. Money and manpower. Some 40 new officers in this neighborhood alone. 2/3 of all big cities have tried community policing with mixed results. In Houston, community policing was largely abandoned when crime rates went up.
I don't think there's overwhelming evidence that community policing works.
But it does work in some neighborhoods.
People, they're not afraid to come out anymore because they know I'm around here. They know I'll pop up at any second.
In Inglewood, community policing has made some of the most dangerous turf in America a little safer. David Bloom, NBC News, Chicago.
Of marijuana and a loaded gun. Shakur, who has 2 other trials coming up, is due to start serving 15 days in an LA jail next Tuesday for attacking filmmaker Alan Hughes and carrying a concealed weapon.
News 8 at 6.
This is the first time in my life it came this close to my neighborhood, and I've been staying here 26 years. And I got my...
Neighbors are worried about a shooting at a Grand Rapids park in broad daylight today. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Van House. Suzanne Jiha is off tonight. Police are looking for answers tonight in the shooting of a man at Martin Luther King Park on Fuller Southeast. The man was playing basketball when a shot rang out. Jennifer Burton is live at the scene and has the latest. Jennifer?
Well, Tom, police certainly have questions about today's incident. For one reason, witnesses at the scene say they heard the shot, but they looked around and they didn't see any people running or cars moving or anything. So there's some mystery surrounding that. Now, neighbors, however, are not happy about what happened, and they say they're especially frustrated with the violence that's been creeping into their neighborhood.
And it seems like the crime is coming closer and closer to us, and it's getting a real concern.
Emily Borsema and her family live very near Martin Luther King Park. She and others we talked to are already concerned about their neighborhood. Today's incident just confirms their fears. Witnesses say a group of kids were having a friendly game of basketball here at the park. Then all of a sudden a shot rang out and one of the players fell to the ground. Emergency crews rushed a 20-year-old man to the hospital. He'd been shot in the hip. Witnesses told police they didn't see any cars drive by and they didn't see anyone running away.
I heard these shots, but I ain't really, paying no attention. I thought it was some firecrackers, until I went down the street and they said somebody got shot at the party.
Neighbors are upset. Some plan to move. Others want to stay and fight.
And we got to be proud of what we have and make it better.
Sandy Grady is head of the Southeast End Neighborhood Association. She's already working with neighbors to band together.
People need to quit closing their doors because one day when they open them, there's not going to be a community left.
Today's incident brought Grady 2 more volunteers, including 26-year-old Sylvester White, who lives across from the park.
This is the first time in my life it came this close to my neighborhood, and I've been staying here 26 years. And I got my family to look at there.
Now, the Neighborhood Association says they are already doing things to help the neighborhood get rid of violence. They're planning on having a meeting this week where they recruit men to go out and patrol. They call it Fathers on Patrol, and they're certainly looking for more people to get involved. As for the victim today, we understand that he's in stable condition at a local hospital, and his injuries are not life-threatening, and police are still looking for suspects. Tom?
Okay. Thank you, Jennifer.
Righteously outraged by the idea that the CIA or any part of our government could be involved in this kind of undermining of a whole neighborhoods throughout this country.
That idea does not surprise some people in communities from Los Angeles to New York City, which have felt the devastation of crack.
It's too much drugs in the country itself for it to just be coming from just us. It's got to be coming from a higher authority.
106 is the time. Madison with you.
For the last month, Joe Madison has devoted every edition of his daily Washington, D.C. talk show to this story.
It just is mind-boggling, which leads me to believe that there's just massive cover-up in high places and probably in Congress, too.
Also in Washington, more than 1,200 people attended a recent town hall meeting to discuss the allegations. And on Friday, law students protested on Capitol Hill. Yesterday in Los Angeles, another community meeting drew over 1,000 people.
Every person in this room is committed to one thing: stopping cocaine from coming into our community and finding out who's responsible.
And on the internet, the newest pipeline into the African-American community, the response has been overwhelming. There are more than 100,000 inquiries a day into the San Jose Mercury News website, which outlines the newspaper's charges that CIA-backed Contra leaders raise money by bringing massive amounts of cocaine into the United States. The newspaper's most devastating charge, that cocaine, originally from Colombia, was sold at bargain basement prices to a Los Angeles drug dealer, who was the first to mass produce and distribute it as crack. And because crack is cheap and highly addictive, it spread quickly in poor urban areas, bringing violence and misery. The CIA denies any knowledge of or participation in drug trafficking by the Contras. But responding to the outcry, black congressional leaders are demanding hearings, and they want access to any secret government files on the Contras and their drug connections. Alexander Johnson.
The hidden danger in a grassy field. Children playing there found vials of blood and dirty needles. Tonight, some angry neighbors in Oakland are demanding action to clean up the dangerous medical waste. Someone, they don't know who, dumped it in their neighborhood. And as Tim Didion found out, people are worried about the consequences.
In this bag, you've got the tops of the needles, surgical gloves, with I think there's some needles in that glove.
In the last 2 days, Kenny Santiago has pulled dozens of used needles and bags of medical waste from a vacant lot right across the street from his house. Unfortunately, he wasn't the one who discovered them. His children did.
My daughter said that she had poked herself. We gathered up some of the stuff and we called the hospital and they said, come in right now. It's an emergency, and to bring whatever you have for us to look at.
Santiago's son and daughter had both stuck themselves with the needles while they were playing around the field.
Most of the needles and vials were found out here near the sidewalk, out in the open. But when we walked through the field, we found plenty that weren't, including some hidden in the tall grass, where you'd never see them until you stepped on them.
Nobody's sure yet where the medical waste came from or who's responsible, but whoever's behind it may have dumped more over the weekend.
Yeah, this is needles. Damn. This is new right here. This is brand damn new, and this wasn't even here yesterday.
Neighbors called city health officials, demanding that they clean up the lot. But they say they were told it's the owner's responsibility, and so far, nobody's been able to reach him. In the meantime, both the Santiago children are being tested for possible infections, including the AIDS virus.
It's just really bad because they say that now that we should bring them in like in 6 more months for another AIDS test, and you know, a few months after that we should bring them in again, and it's just really bad because now, right now I'm not all the way. I don't feel safe about what happened.
His children don't really understand what's happened to them, but they know how it makes them feel. In Oakland, Tim Didion, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
That neighborhood is on 7th Avenue near East 8th Street. We tried today to contact the county health officials for a reaction to the story, but we couldn't reach them. Kenny Santiago says, though, they'll hear from him tomorrow. He and his neighbors say that they won't give up until that field is cleaned up.
A Denver man is in critical condition tonight after he was shot 8 times by an unknown attacker. The 26-year-old man, identified as Arturo Andrade, was standing here in the parking lot of the business where police say he works. Witnesses say a man in a maroon or red Camaro-type car pulled into the lot. The driver got out and shot Andrade 8 times, hitting him in the neck, arm, abdomen, and thigh. Police described the suspect as a Hispanic male with a mustache. No motive for the attack is known yet.
A Colorado Springs woman is in fair condition tonight after being shot during an attempted carjacking in California. 41-year-old Josephine Coulters was waiting in her pickup for a food order at this drive-thru here in Ontario, California last night when she was shot in the chest. The gunman complimented her truck and then asked to buy it. When she refused to sell it, the gunman pulled a pistol and ordered her to get out. She apparently resisted and then was shot at close range.
The suspect, after shooting the woman, then fled to a vehicle across the street, which may or may not have had another suspect inside the vehicle. The suspect vehicle fled, and as officers arrived, witnesses stated that the suspect apparently had tried to get into the pickup truck, but was chased off by the woman's female mixed German Shepherd dog that was inside the cab with her.
Coulters is being held in the jail section of this hospital after officers discovered 2 handguns, a large amount of narcotics, and cash inside her truck. They don't believe the drugs are directly related to the shooting, but they suspect that Coulters was planning to transport them back to Colorado.
People who come into East Palo Alto looking for drugs will now find a special task force looking for them. Police will now single out suspicious out-of-towners. Residents say there are too many strangers around, and they are up to no good.
Too much traffic going back and forth through East Palo Alto. Some of it needs to quit.
And they're not from East Palo Alto?
Most likely they're not.
What do you think?
But some of them are. It's like half and half.
What do you think they're doing?
Buying drugs.
East Palo Alto crime jumped a frightening 400% last year, but police say most of it was committed by or against people from other communities.
We had estimates that about 80% of the drugs being sold in the city of East Palo Alto were being sold to people from outside the city.
So other communities are contributing police to help fight crime in East Palo Alto. Officers from 5 other agencies will help patrol the city, and they will use different investigation and arrest methods.
Usually officers concentrate on picking up the dealers, but in this program, officers from all the departments will be zeroing in on the buyers.
We're going to do that by any lawful means that we can, to identify these people, and hopefully we can deter them from coming into the community.
With the extra help, East Palo Alto police can now concentrate on drug suspects.
Stand right by the fence. I think she might have dumped some drugs in your car, okay?
From now on, the only visitors welcome are the police from other cities helping to bust out-of-town crime. In East Palo Alto, Manuel Ramos, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
The police say up to 4 extra units are going to be patrolling the streets of East Palo Alto every night for the next 2 months. Dave.
An innocent boy caught in the line of fire. An alleged gang shooting ends with the La Puente boy in the hospital. Linda Joyce reports.
A little boy airlifted to the hospital with a gunshot wound. 10-year-old Johnny Romo wasn't thinking about danger when he stepped outside Thursday night and was hit by a stray bullet. He just heard some noise and took a look.
Then when I get off to shake him, I just saw him, inside. He's screaming and said, they hitting me, they hitting me. And when I touched him, I saw the blood.
6 shots fired in all by a passenger in a late model Honda. The intended victim, possibly someone in another Honda driving the opposite way.
We're getting a hold of our gang units to see if there's any information they may have on the vehicle descriptions or anything of that nature.
One bullet went through Johnny's elbow, entered his lower back, and exited his body, miraculously missing all vital organs. I spoke with Johnny while he was in the hospital. He said he was bothered by the tube up his nose. What else can you tell me about what's happening to you?
Nothing, I'm just being in the bed.
Okay. All right, so they tell me you're going to be okay, and how do you feel?
Fine.
Detectives will be canvassing the neighborhood, talking to witnesses to see if they can get any more information on who did the shooting. Because in the words of one lieutenant, anytime an innocent child is involved, it affects everyone in law enforcement.
Anytime a child's involved, it pulls at the heartstrings, and you tend to just maybe have a little more energy to push.
In La Puente, Linda Joyce, Fox 11 News.
Breaking news to report to you right now. Take a look at Sky 11, which is flying overhead right now of the 10 freeway at the Arlington exit, which is near Crenshaw. Apparently, all eastbound lanes are closed at this time of the 10 freeway after a suspect was chased to that location from the Santa Monica area, apparently by the Santa Monica Police Department. Apparently, the arrest has been made, but there is still some police activity going on at this time. The 10 freeway, all eastbound lanes at Arlington are closed right now. We'll continue to follow. You can see right now that there is quite a backup on the freeway as this freeway is closed at this point in time. John?
In Canyon Country, sheriff's deputies uncovered $500,000 worth of pot in an underground growing room. The suspect, 39-year-old John Moreau, made the addition to the home himself. The sheriff's department had Moreau under investigation over the past year.
In the area of dumb crimes, graffiti vandals in Sunnyvale caught because they initialed their work. After painstakingly tracing the initials in a month-long investigation, Sunnyvale police today charged 15 juveniles with vandalism. They allegedly tagged public and private property, 284 cases with damage set at $32,000. The arrest came as a relief to the people who have to clean up what the vandals left behind.
We paint them and everything. The more we paint them, the more they graffiti. I think we got to take out all the markers out of the stars so they wouldn't sell them no more.
If the teens are convicted, they or their parents could be made to pay for the damage.